I dropped my yellow jerry can on the floor and the expense of fuel poured away on the dirty ground, but I did not even look at it. My eyes were glued to the dirty man sleeping on the old carton under the Oberlinde Bridge. The people in the long queue were shouting, "Madam, move your car forward or leave this place," but I could not hear them. The noise of the generator and the cars faded from my ears. I walked close to the madman. He had thick dirt in his hair and like he had not bathed for 1 year, and he smelt like gutter water mixed with rotten fish. He turned his face to look at me, and my heart cut into 2 pieces. The street light was yellow, but I saw it clearly. It was the scar on his forehead, the same scar he got when he fell from a bicycle when he was 6 years old. I opened my mouth to call his name, but no voice came out. I shouted inside my head, saying, "Jesus, this is not a madman. This is my son. This is Junior, my Junior that is supposed to be in Canada." But before you cry for me, let me tell you how I became the happiest woman in Balogun Market before this bad thing happened to me. It started 2 years ago when Junior left Nigeria. I remember the day very well. I wore my best white lace and danced to the altar in church for Thanksgiving. I told everybody that cared to listen that my son has gone to the abroad to make dollars. Every morning when I reached my shop in the market, I would clean my chair and sit down like a queen. If anybody greets me, I will answer them with my nose in the air, because I am not their maid again. I am a mother of a Canadian citizen. My phone was my best friend. Every Sunday evening, Junior would call me on video call. His face will be shining and he will be wearing a big jacket that looks like a blanket. Junior will tell me, "Mommy, it is too cold here in Toronto. The snow is everywhere." I will tell him, "Sorry, my son, just manage the cold because that is the smell of money." He will laugh and say, "Mommy, I have sent something for your weekend." Before I cut the call, my phone will shake. Bam! 50,000 naira will enter my account. I will scream and jump up. I will call the woman selling food next to me. I will say, "Aya Basira, come and see Alerto. My son has sent money from abroad again." Aya Basira will look at the phone with jealousy in her eyes. She will say, "Mama Junior, you are enjoying oh. Her own son is just a mechanic in Japa, and he only gives her 1,000 naira for feeding." I used to pity her, but inside my heart I was happy that I am better than her. I did not know that life was playing me a warm-up match. Junior sent me pictures every week. Pictures of him standing in front of tall glass houses. Pictures of him holding white snow in his hand. I printed the pictures and pasted them all over my shop. If a customer wants to buy cloth, I will point to the picture and say, "That is my son in Canada. He is working with the white people government." The customer will respect me and pay any price I call. I was living a fake life, but I did not know. I thought I had arrived. I thought suffering had finished in my life. I was planning to go and visit him next year so I can hold the snow too. I did not know that the only snow my son was holding was the dust of Lagos streets. Things started to change small about 6 months ago, but I was too blind to see it. Love covers the eyes of a mother so she cannot see the fault of her child. The first thing that happened was the video calls stopped. Every Sunday, I will wear my wig and powder my face, waiting to see my handsome son, but when the phone rings, it will be only voice call. I will ask him, "Junior, why is your video not showing? I want to see your face." He will tell me, "Mommy, don't be angry. My phone fell inside the snow yesterday and the camera shattered. He said the cold in Canada is too much, that it freezes the phone screen." I believed him because I have never been to Canada. I do not know how snow works. I told him to go and buy another phone, but he said, "No, Mommy, I am saving money." He said he wants to buy a big house for me in Lekki, so he is managing the broken phone. My head swelled up like bread inside tea. I went to the market the next day and told Iya Basira that very soon I will move to Lekki because my son is saving millions of dollars. Iya Basira just looked at me and chewed her chewing stick with anger. I did not know that there was no snow and there was no broken camera. Junior was hiding his face because he had become thin like a broomstick. He was hiding his background because he was no longer in a fine house. Then the money started to cut. Before, he was sending $50,000 every month, sharp. Then it became every 2 months. Then he would call me and say, "Mommy, the tax in this country is too much. The white people are taking all the money." He said he opened a savings account in Nigeria where he is keeping the bulk money so that the white people will not tax him. He gave me the account number. He said, "Mommy, if you have any extra change from your shop, put it inside that account for me so when I come back, we will use it to buy the land in Lekki." I was a foolish woman. I took all the profit from my shop and I was pumping it into that account. I thought I was saving for our future. I did not know I was sending money to buy gala and pure water for my son under the bridge. I was feeding him, but I thought I was saving. Sometimes when he calls me, I will hear noise in the background, like bus horn or people shouting. I will ask him, "Junior, what is that noise?" He will say, "Mommy, it is the train station. I'm going to work." But the noise sounded like Lagos Danfo bus. I just told myself that maybe Canada trains are noisy like that. Then last week came, and the devil decided to drink water in my house. Fuel scarcity hit Lagos very hard. For 3 days, I did not see light to blink. My generator was dry, and my car was on reserve. My phone battery was showing red and blinking low battery. It was Saturday evening, and I knew that if my phone dies, I will miss Junior's call on Sunday. I cannot afford to miss that call. That call is the medicine that cures my body pain. I picked my yellow jerrycan and I entered my car. The fuel gauge was already resting on empty, but I managed to drive it to Obolende. The traffic was wicked. It was bumper to bumper. I was sweating because I could not put on the AC. I was praying to God that the car should not stop on the road because I am a big woman in the market and it will be a shame if people see me pushing my car. I reached the filling station and the queue was long like the rope they used to tie a goat. I came down and stood by my car, waiting for my turn to buy fuel so I can charge my phone to hear the sweet lies of my son. 2 men were fighting in front of me because of 5 liters of fuel. One of them broke a bottle on the floor and everybody scattered. I quickly rolled up my car glass because I did not want anybody to scratch my paint. I was shaking with anger. I asked myself, why am I suffering like this with these local people? I'm supposed to be in Canada drinking tea with white people. But look at me here, fighting with the barrows because of petrol. The heat inside the car was too much. My blouse was soaking with sweat and sticking to my back. The mosquitoes were entering through the small space I opened in the window, and they were biting me like my village people sent 'em. I looked at the time on my dashboard, and it was almost midnight. I knew that I would not get fuel that night, but I was too stubborn to go home. If I go home without fuel, how will I charge my phone to speak to my son? I decided to come down from the car to stretch my legs because my waist was paining me. The air outside was smelling of smoke and dust. I walked away from the noise of the fighting men and moved toward the side of the bridge where the breeze was blowing small. That was when I saw him. At first I did not look at him well because in Lagos we see mad people every day. We're used to 'em. They're like dustbins or poles on the road. Nobody pays attention to 'em. He was lying down on a flat carton of Indomie noodles. He was wearing a shirt that was once white, but now it was brown like dust. His trouser was torn at the knee, and he had no shoes on his leg. I wanted to turn back and go to my car, but something held my leg. The man was murmuring in his sleep. He was talking and moving his hand like he was explaining something to somebody. I moved closer because I am a curious woman. I wanted to hear what a madman talks about in his sleep. I stood there and I listened. The voice was cracking and dry like he had not drunk water for days, but the way he was pronouncing words was familiar. He was speaking English. He was not speaking Yoruba or Igbo. He was speaking English with a nose that sounded like he was forcing an accent. My heart started beating fast like a drum. Gabim, gabim, gabim. I told myself, Nkechi, stop being foolish. How can a madman sound like your son? But I could not move. I used the light from the street lamp to look at his feet. The toes were long, and the second toe was longer than the big toe. I remembered when Junior was a baby, I used to play with his toes and call them long fingers. My body started getting cold even though the night was hot. I took one step forward. The man turned on his side and his face faced the light. I saw the face and the ground disappeared from under my feet. It was not a ghost. It was not a dream. The beard was full and dirty, but the nose was my father's nose. The forehead was my husband's forehead, and there was the scar. The scar above his left eye shone in the yellow light. I felt a heavy stone land on my chest. The world stopped moving. The noise of the filling station went silent. The only thing I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears. The picture of him in the snow that I pasted in my shop flashed in my eyes, and then I looked at the thing lying on the carton. The Canada I was boasting about was a lie. The snow was a lie. The dollars were a lie. My son was not an expatriate. My son was the madman that market women spit on. I opened my mouth to scream, but the scream refused to come out. Only tears rolled down like a broken tap. I stood there shaking like a leaf in the wind, and my voice finally found the road to come out of my throat. I whispered, Chinedu. That is his real name. Junior is the name for the public, but Chinedu is the name I gave him when he came out of my womb. He did not move at first, so I shouted it louder. Chinedu, is it you? The body on the carton jumped up like he heard a gunshot. He scrambled back until his back hit the rough concrete of the bridge pillar. He looked at me with fear in his eyes. It was not the fear of a madman who sees a spirit. It was the fear of a thief who has been caught by the owner of the house. He looked at my face, and I saw the recognition flash in his eyes like lightning. He saw the expensive lace I was wearing. He saw the car key in my hand. He knew who I was. But then he did something that broke my heart more than his condition. He covered his face with his dirty hands and started shouting, "Go away, I don't know you. Go away, let me sleep." He was trying to change his voice to sound like a rough animal. He was trying to force the madness to come back and cover him because the shame of being seen by his mother was too heavy for him to carry. I threw my jerrycan away. I did not care about the fuel again. Let the car burn, let Lagos burn, I did not care. I ran to him and grabbed his shirt. The shirt was stiff with dirt and oil, but I held it tight with my 2 hands. I dragged him up. I said, "Junior, look at me. It is your mother. It is Mama Nkechi. Why are you sleeping under the bridge in Lagos when you're supposed to be in Canada? Why are you looking like a madman when I am boasting in the market that you are a prince abroad?" He tried to push me away, but my grip was strong. A mother's strength is different from Jim's strength. It comes from the blood. He looked around to see if people were watching. The people buying fuel were looking at us. Some were bringing out their phones to video us. They thought I was a rich woman fighting a madman who scratched my car. They were laughing and pressing their phones. Junior saw the phones and he started shaking like he had fever. He knew that if those videos enter the internet, his secret is finished. He fell on his knees and the madness disappeared from his eyes completely. Tears washed the dirt on his cheeks, leaving 2 clean lines on his face. He held my leg and put his head on my feet right there in the dirt. He said, "Mummy, I am sorry. I did not go anywhere. The visa was fake. The agent ate my money. I was ashamed to come back home. I could not face you. I could not face the market women. I did not want them to laugh at you. I have been here for 2 years, Mummy. I have been sleeping in uncompleted buildings and eating from dustbins just so you can still raise your shoulder in the market." He was crying and coughing. He said, "Mummy, I photoshopped the pictures. I used the money you sent to buy data so I can keep the lie alive. I wanted to die, but I was afraid that if I die, you will cry too much." My ears were ringing, "Gwa, gwa, gwa." All the money I sent to the account, all the pictures I pasted in my shop, all the lies I told Ia Basira. My son did not eat the money for enjoyment. He used it to build a wall of lies to protect my pride. He suffered for 2 years so that my reputation would not break. I looked at him and I did not see a failure. I saw a boy who loved his mother too much that he decided to kill himself with suffering instead of bringing shame to her name. But he was foolish, very foolish. He did not know that a mother prefers a failure that is alive to a success that is dead. The crowd started coming closer, pointing fingers and asking, "Madam, is that your son? Is he mad?" I had to make a choice immediately. The crowd formed a circle around us like vultures waiting for a dead goat. Phones were flashing everywhere. One man with a loud voice shouted, "Madam, careful-o, mad people can bite. Leave him alone." Another woman said, "Ya, look at the fine woman. Maybe the madman is her brother. Village people are wicked-o." Their words were like stinging bees flying around my head. In that moment, I saw the future clearly. If I walk away, I can save my face. I can enter my car, drive off, and pretend this never happened. I can continue to be Mama Canada. I can tell people that the madman just looked like someone I knew. Junior will remain under the bridge until one day he will truly die and I will bury an empty coffin. But if I stay, the audio visa will crash. The whole Balogun Market will know the truth by tomorrow morning. Ia Basira will laugh until her teeth fall out. My enemies will dance. The shame will be heavy like a bag of cement. I looked down at Junior. He was still holding my leg, shivering in the heat. He expected me to kick him away. He expected me to choose my pride over his life. I took a deep breath and I swallowed the pride. I swallowed the Canada dream. I swallowed the envy of the market women. I untied the expensive George wrapper on my waist. It was the wrapper I bought for 80,000 naira, the one I told people Junior sent money for. I opened it wide like a canopy. The gold threads in the fabric shined in the streetlight. I bent down and I wrapped it around my son. I covered his torn shirt. I covered his dirty skin. I covered his shame. I pulled him up to his feet. He was weak and staggering, but I held him tight. I looked at the crowd and I shouted with a voice that shook the bridge. "This is not a madman. This is my son. He is not lost. He is found. Anyone that videos us again, thunder will fire your phone." The people were shocked. The man recording dropped his hand. The woman mocking us closed her mouth. I led him to the car. The smell of his body filled the leather seats, but I did not wind down the glass. I put the key in the ignition and the car started once. I did not look at the fuel gauge again. I reversed the car and turned away from the filling station. As we drove away from Obalende, Junior started crying softly in the passenger seat. He said, "Mummy, I am sorry I failed you." I drove with one hand and used the other hand to hold his dirty hand. I said, "Chinadu, you did not fail me. You only forgot that your mother's love is not visa on arrival. It does not expire." We drove home in silence. I knew the next day would be hard. I knew the market women would gossip. I knew the respect I had would turn to pity. But looking at my son sleeping in the seat beside me, covered in my wrapper, I felt a peace that 50,000 naira alert could never give me. The audio visa was gone, but the real boy was back, and that was enough for me.